We're wrong. That's what stops are all about. The Japanese say it's better to bend than to break. And probably the way that people get blown out of the market is the most common way is taking those huge one or two tremendous losses. And don't think that the market, well, on the equity side, the market makers, on the forex side, maybe the banks, they're not going to be gunning for your stops. Don't worry about it, unless you put them in an obvious area. I mean, if you put them at the zeros, you have like a support area at 122 in the yen. Okay, everybody in the world might have a stop there, so they're going to be gunning for the stops. So what you should do is put it maybe 10, 20 pips under there, because that's as far. You don't know how far the stops are going to be taken out, but they gun for the stops all the time. So if it's a very obvious chart point, by obvious I mean a round number. Think about that. They're not going to be gunning for your stops. They're just gunning for everybody's stops because they know retail uses the round numbers. Yes?
Do you think that's part of the reason for the crack and snap?
Yes, definitely. Well, the question is this part of the reason for the crack and snap and falling off the roof, which techniques we'll talk about later? Yes, definitely. We'll look at that in a bit. And as smart as we are, remember one thing that's always, always true, that the market is never wrong. Okay? Oh, yeah. Face it, yeah. Okay. Here we have a bearish engulfing pattern with the with the red semicircle in late January. The market closed above it. So remember with the idea of stops. Okay, so the market closed above it. And if we're short, we would have been stopped out. Okay. Question. What is that second red semicircle? What kind of pattern is that? Bearish engulfing pattern. So the question is, and the bearish engulfing pattern, the high of the bearish engulfing pattern was around 119.25 on the dollar or yen. Okay, so where's your stop? Okay, 119.25, right? Right. It's not 119.25. Okay, it's 119.50. Why? It's so close. I mean, wouldn't it be very upsetting? I mean, the market did stall there. It did happen to stall. That red line happened to be the high of the bearish engulfing pattern. But what if the market got above 119.25 and got to 119.40? Would you want to be out of your short position? No. So this is why we'll have zones. Very often we'll have zones of support and resistance on our service. S1, this would be like, I don't know if this would be R1. This would be like R1 would be a zone if the market had ended today. Our R1, our first resistance area would be 119.25 to 119.50. And what we do in our newsletter, it's called Illuminations, is we give reasons for support or resistance. So it's a great educational vehicle also. So for example, for our first resistance, we'll have 119.25 to 119.50. We'll say high of bearish engulfing pattern to recent pivot high. Okay, here's a technique I discussed before about setting stops without waiting for the close. Now, we have the shooting star confirming a resistance area. We know that we should wait for the close above the shooting star to say that the market's broken above resistance. But if you waited for the close in that session, look at what happened. Let me show you a little trick to use so you could use an intraday stop. First of all, we define what our price target is. So the shooting star closed at 121.92. Our target, my target, I shouldn't say our target, because yours might be different than mine, is down here around 121.60. So it looks like we're trying to make 28 pips, our potential reward. So our potential reward is 28 pips. Now, let's say we want a 2-to-1 risk, 1-to-2 risk reward. So now we're going to go backwards. We're saying we're looking to make 28. What does that mean? We're willing to risk. Now we're ignoring the bid offer spread. So let's forget. So we're going to go 14. So that means that with the close of the shooting star at 121.92, that's where we initially shorted. So for a 2-to-1 risk reward, it's actually the other way around. Reward risk. It should be 1-to-2, but everybody says risk reward. We're risking 14 basis, so we're risking 14 basis point. So what we're doing is we shorted at 121.92. We add 14 basis point, and this becomes our intraday stop. Anybody want me to go over that again? You see what we've done? We took the profit potential of 28 pips, and we worked backwards, and then we defined what our risk is. Isn't it pretty cool? Yeah. You won't see this anywhere else. This is not in my books. I don't know if I've never seen this before. Anyway, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So